From Hollywood. Welcome to the Rat's Ass Podcast with Mojo Elliott.
You ever had one of those days where your lips just keep sticking together? Happy hump day, my fiends. I'm working on about 4 hours sleep the past 2 days, so I hope you came ready to take off on another action-packed adventure because I have no idea where this thing's going to go today. All right, just drop what you're doing, grab a cool one, and let's get busy. Here's what's on tap on the Wrap. Trump's reign of terror on the Democrats heats up in D.C. California's slumlord Governor Gavin Newsom is deflecting again. We'll tell you how. Is it time for parents to be held accountable for what their teens do? New Jersey says, yeah, buddy. Thinking about moving to Denver? Well, you better hold that thought, sugar. And what are the 8 signs you have a great girlfriend, fellas? We'll go over them. Another round of head trauma is on the way. Today, you can try your luck with the Movie Mash. Plus our usual lunacy and loose behavior, including the weird, wacky, and ridiculous people. That's what's up today on the Rat's Ass Podcast for Wednesday, August 13th. Thanks for being here. All right, Heal America is a movement we started to encourage our listeners to stop voting for Democrats for the next 4 years. We have to help heal them from their Trump derangement syndrome. You know, think of it as an intervention, and we're sending them off to get better in political rehab. Now, there's no money involved. You don't have to sign up for anything. We just want your commitment to stop voting for Democrats for the next 4 years. That's it. Let them regroup and come back to be more effective. All right, in 16 days on August 29th, the Rat's Ass Podcast from the Mojo Studio will have been cooking for 1 year. That's right. It's our 1 year anniversary already. Not going to do a party. Not going to do it. Just not going to do it. We're going to save that up for the 5th year anniversary, but I do want to do a 1 year anniversary special, I think. So here's what I'd like for you to do for me, if you wouldn't mind. Sit down by the email and just send us what you love or hate, or love and hate about the podcast. I want to read them all. I want to get you all involved in that. Okay, we'll read all your messages as part of the fun. Send it to ratsasspodcast@gmail.com. What do you love or what do you hate? Well, read it all. Now, I also don't want you to feel obligated because it is a 1 year anniversary to send me a gift at 1313 Mockingbird Lane, Hollywood, 90028. Do not feel compelled to do it. Don't spend your money sending me a gift to 1313 Mockingbird Lane, Hollywood, California, 90028. Please, don't do it. Don't do it. All right, let's get into the wrap. Democrats are going rat shit crazy again because Donald Trump has taken it upon himself to clean up D.C. He got the National Guard involved patrolling, and he's got them for 30 days to do the job, and then Congress has to approve a longer stay. But first night out, they arrested almost 24 people of serious crimes. Now, we know the Democrats, they love their shithole cities. But here's what I believe the Dems are afraid of. I think they believe Trump is going to do to D.C. what he did at the border. He's not only going to fix it, he's going to fix it fast and expose their Democratic D.C. mayor and police chief as being incompetent. Now, during a press conference yesterday, D.C. Police Chief Pamela Smith was asked what the chain of command was going to be for the next 30 days, and she said, "What's that?" She had no idea what chain of command meant. And I think that's all you need to know. She's a DEI hire, unqualified to do the job, because who in the hell puts somebody in a leadership position and they don't know what the chain of command means? I mean, it's their job to create the chain of command. If she doesn't know what it is, there's got to be complete chaos in that police department. So now that Trump has the Democrats distracted, though, now he's going to fly off to Alaska and meet with Rootin' Tootin' Putin to try and get an end to a war between Russia and Ukraine. Now, personally, I'd kind of like to see these two countries just keep beating the hell out of each other and deplete their military so they're too weak to fight anyone else from NATO. But yeah, thank God I'm not the president, right? Now, here in California, our slumlord Governor Gavin Newsom continues to ignore his job and keeps trolling Trump and Texas Governor Greg Abbott over this gerrymandering thing. Now, Democrats started this gerrymandering thing with Obama back in 2008. And yeah, it's all legal and everything. There's no funny business here, but now that the Republicans are doing it in Texas, suddenly it's unconstitutional. Democrats, again, going rat shit crazy. Now, this really has nothing to do with Newsom, but he's trying to use California as leverage to get the Republicans to back off. And, of course, the Republicans said, Gavin who? Flicked him off like a gnat. You know, you talk about somebody who thinks they're more important than their job. It's Newsom. I mean, here's the thing about him. He reminds me of a few general managers I would work with during my career who would create chaos in other areas of the radio station so their bosses wouldn't focus on them not hitting their numbers. Newsom does the same damn thing. He creates these distractions so voters in California won't notice that he's an absentee governor. It looks like he's still working when he's in fact not doing anything but lining up his presidential run. And is ignoring California, obviously. To most voters, at least to me. You know what, in fact, I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to pull out the phone here, and I'm just going to give old Gavin a call. I'm going to find out, I'm just going to ask him if he's abandoning his job as California governor.
Thank you for calling the office of Governor Gavin Newsom. In order to expedite your call, please select from the following options. To continue in English, please press 1 now.
Okay.
Para continuar en español, for office hours, mailing address, fax number, or to email the office of Governor Newsom, please press 1. If you would like to speak to a representative, please press 6.
All right.
If you have reached this message, our office is closed.
Of course it is. And who in the hell uses a fax machine anymore? Do they still use AOL too? You know, it's been 8 months since the LA fires now, and there's still no rebuilding going on in Malibu either on PCH. I was down by there yesterday, drove by, nothing's happening. Newsom and Bass promised they'd cut red tape and get things moving quickly to hurry the rebuild. You know, it's all for show, folks. Both Newsom and Bass are do-nothing Democrats. Period. End of story. Hey, did you see in Gloucester Township in New Jersey, they passed a law that will hold parents accountable for their teens? I think it's a great idea. Now, they've listed about 28 potential crimes that parents can go to jail for 90 days and or pay a $2,000 fine. Yeah, do you think they're going to watch their kids a little bit closer? And like I said, I like the idea because, it'll hold parents accountable, make them watch the kids a little bit better, but I think it needs to be implemented nationwide. Do you agree or disagree? I mean, hey, people want kids, but once they find out it's work, they no longer want the responsibility. They want to turn it over to the village. Well, the village is saying, you pop them out, take responsibility for their actions. Be a parent, not their friend. So what do you think? Drop us a note at ratsaspodcast@gmail.com. Should parents be held accountable for what their kids do? Yay or nay? All right, we started a new feature here on the Rat's Ass Podcast called What's Your Point? And this is where we find somebody making a pretty damn good point on social media, and we share it with you. Now, I don't care if it leans left, right, or down the middle. If it's a good point, I'm going to share it with you. And this brings us to today's What's Your Point? Have you been thinking about moving to Denver, Colorado? A lot of people are. I have 2 neighbors who've sold their homes in the last 6 months and are Denver bound. But Blair Terry says, anyone thinking about it better think twice. Better think again about moving to the Mile High City.
Denver, the Mile High City. Come for the mountains, stay because someone stole your catalytic converter and now you can't leave. Ever want to watch a city collapse in real time? Downtown Denver's got you covered. Take in the sights. There's a naked man fist-fighting a lamppost and a woman aggressively breastfeeding a pigeon. Don't forget the man selling authentic artisan copper wiring that just so happens to match the power outage on your block. It's vibrant, diverse, and it's definitely not safe. But don't just take in the sights, take in the stench of a city in ruins. The sidewalk? Repurposed into permanent housing. The bus stops? Those are now living rooms. Need to walk literally anywhere? Good luck dodging tents, human feces, and used needles. And we don't just have homelessness. We have a government-approved humanitarian crisis. 9,000 people living on the streets. And our government's response? Counting them once a year and then ignoring it. Encampments pop up overnight. Just little pop-up shops, except instead of selling scented candles, they're selling your stolen bicycle. And we don't just have drugs, we hand them out. Last year, Denver distributed over 500,000 free needles. Because when faced with a deadly fentanyl crisis, the city's response wasn't treatment, detox, or intervention. It was making sure everyone had the proper tools to keep using. Fentanyl overdoses here are up 800% in the past 5 years. Over 1,000 people died last year alone. That's 3 people a day. But don't worry, the governor has a plan. More Narcan stations and free fentanyl testing strips. Because when people are dropping dead in record numbers, the best course of action is to make sure they can measure their poison before taking it. And if they overdose, no problem. Paramedics will revive them, hand them a fresh dose of Narcan, and send them on the streets to do it all over again. It's like playing whack-a-mole with human despair. Denver won't fight the crisis, but they will use your tax dollars to fund another bike lane. Because what the city really needed wasn't fewer deaths or safer streets. It was more space for people to swerve around bodies while riding e-bikes. So come on down and experience the Mile High City, where the crime is lawless, the leadership is clueless, and the only guaranteed trip is a drug-induced coma at Denver Health. Welcome home.
Sounds to me like the Democrats have redefined what Mile High means. All right, there are 8 signs that tells a guy he's got a good girlfriend. Want to know what they are? All right, let's run through them real quick. She likes the same things you do. You like skinny skiing on acid? Well, hopefully she does too. She never interferes with your work, lets you do your job without a hassle. She loves you for who you are and not for what you do. She accepts you for the way you are and doesn't try to change you. She doesn't try to supervise your time. You want time to yourself, she's fine with it. She doesn't demand that you're with her 24/7, or at least when you're not working. You share the same core values like religion, politics, sports teams, movies, etc. Music, maybe. She enjoys spending time with you and your family and doesn't mind if you spend time with your friends. Again, that's a biggie. And finally, her sex drive needs to match yours. Now, because I'm a Virgo Libra cusp, I tend to see relationships like a Virgo in that everything has to be in balance. So I'm going to ask, shouldn't these 8 signs apply to men too? Shouldn't they?
Oh, you're going straight to hell for that one.
His jockstrap is a peanut shell and some string.
Well, I'm going to stuff you with it too.
Here is Mojo Elliott with Rat Sports.
That's such a pain in the tuchus. All right, the Rat's Ass Podcast Fantasy Football League is locked in. All 10 players from last year opted in and have paid their dues. $1,000 entry fee, meaning the winner this season will take home 10 G's. Our draft will be on September 1st, and you can follow our league on the blog at ratsasspodcast.com. You know, it's just not fun unless you play for money. Moolah's got to be involved. But, yeah, I'm going after my 5th league title. I've got 4, obviously. Last year I lost in the championship game. So I have revenge on my mind this year. Yeah, I lost out on 5 G's last year. That's why we upped the ante to 10 this year. All right, the Minnesota Vikings organization is taking a ribbing after naming 2 men to join their cheerleading squad. Yeah, I had to stop and read that again twice. Their names are Blaze Sheik, I'm sure that's original, and Louis Kahn. And no, they're not there to support the ladies just doing the pyramid. They're going to be dancers just like the ladies. So I guess the good news here is when they do a split, and there's no chance of them sticking to the field. The NBA has released their Christmas Day schedule, and there are 5 games on tap. Cleveland will play the Knicks in New York. San Antonio travels to Oklahoma City to play the champs. Dallas will be at Golden State. Houston tips it off at Los Angeles against me Lakers. Would have rather seen Dallas and LA on Christmas Day, but that's a big game. They'll save those 2 games for another time, I'm sure, when they need the ratings. And Minnesota wraps up the day at Denver. All right, let's look at the Rat's Ass Sports chat box and see who has sent us messages. Tyler Hayes, Twin Falls, Idaho. What are the chances the Lakers' new ownership sticks with J.J. Redick as their head coach? Well, they're going to stick with him this year. Coaches are, what have you done for me lately? All coaches are hired to be fired. So, let's say the Lakers get off to an 0-10 start. That starts the process maybe. If they make the playoffs and get bounced in the first round, maybe he doesn't survive that. But if he gets the Lakers 2-3, maybe into the championship, Western Conference Finals, I think JJ keeps his job. But every coach is hired to be fired. You got to get the job done. They're just not going to gift you that job. Rudy Wilson, Carson, California, said, settle a bet for me. For me and my boy Harv, he said, who is better, Ichiro Suzuki or Shohei Ohtani? Right now, I still think the book is out on Ohtani. He's a great player. But I want to see him complete his career before I give him the nod, so I'm going with Ichiro. I watched him play, man. He was dynamite, just absolutely dynamite. So for now, in settling your bet, I'm going with Ichiro. make sure you send me some of the cut on that, too, since I gave you the answer. All right? And that's sports on the Wrap.
Rat's Ass Podcast. Head trauma.
All right, who was up for the Movie Mash? I'm going to play 3 clips from 3 different 80s movies, and you have to tell me what the movies are. All right, here we go. Listen close.
It's no big deal.
No more Yankee, my wanky.
Those aren't pillows.
All right, that's got you curious. One more time. Listen close.
It's no big deal.
No more Yankee, my wanky.
Those aren't pillows.
All right, think about it. And I'll have the answer for you coming up a little bit later on the podcast.
It's time for some loose behavior on the Rat's Ass Podcast.
All right, let's do some weird, wacky, and ridiculous people today. Chad Myers from Calgary, Canada, thought he could smuggle 25 pounds of cocaine across the U.S. border by hiding it in wrapped Depends, the adult diapers, and putting them in a Depends box. When he was searched at the border, the patrol tried to move the box in the trunk, and it didn't move very easy, and the patrol officer asked Chad, "Hey, why is this box of Depends so heavy?" And Chad replied, "Because they're used." And the Border Patrol let him pass. I kid you not.
Hey, heads up. Here comes your celebrity cheese.
All right, Taylor Swift appeared on the Kelsey Brothers New Heights podcast on Tuesday. It was supposed to be today, but I guess she showed up a day early. Taylor doesn't know what day it is. Anyway, she announced she's releasing a new album called Life of a Showgirl. Now, how about that timing by Tay-Tay, huh? Just in time for the NFL football season when she'll be parking her Tookus in the box seats at Arrowhead. Yeah, you're going to be looking at the schedule saying, "Oh, the Chiefs are on today. I think I'll go fishing." But get ready for Season 3 of Tavis. Fox News funny boy Greg Gutfeld's appearance on The Tonight Show boosted the show's ratings with Jimmy Fallon by 1.71 million viewers. 36% increase from the week before, but Fallon still received some major blowback from his mostly liberal audience. I can't wait to see what the numbers are this week. Did they disappear? Did the Gutfeld audience say, "Okay, had enough of that. We're going back to Gutfeld show"? And will those numbers that he normally had, Jimmy, meaning, will they drop again? It's going to be interesting. I'm curious. It's going to be interesting to see. But here's what I think's in play here. With Colbert going away and Kimmel possibly moving to Italy, sure, there's no way NBC is going to give up a franchise like the Tonight Show. It goes too far back. Okay, they want to be the last show standing before they ever give it up. So watch them, maybe pull the show a little bit more to the center again. Even if Kimmel stays, it doesn't really matter. The Tonight Show will be all-inclusive. It'll be the only late-night show that is, because it's only between Kimmel and Fallon at that point. But the question is, will Fallon survive? Ooh, the plot thickens. All right, who in the hell knew Chubby Checker was still alive? Checker was huge back in the 50s and 60s and is credited with inventing the famous dance, the twist. Let's twist again like we did last summer. Chubby was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I just didn't know he was still alive. He's 83 years old, but he waited 3 decades. But he said he's not showing up for the induction ceremony. You know why? Because he's got a paid gig. Also for the first time in 3 decades. Leonardo DiCaprio was pulled over and searched by police in Ibiza last weekend. Leo and his girlfriend, Vittoria Soretti, were on vacation there. Yeah, bouncing around in bikinis and everything. Yeah, they pulled him over for speeding. The cops said they didn't recognize DiCaprio until they searched him and Soretti. But you can call me a conspiracy theorist on this one, but I think Leo had it done on purpose to find out if Vittoria was really 27 years old, because that means she's still 2 years past due for getting dumped by Leo. So either he's upped his age to 30, or Vittoria must be a hellcat in a sack.
That's just about enough of that.
And you know what? I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't tell you that Britney Spears has now been single for 175 days.
Oh, give us a rat's ass.
Rat's Ass Podcast. Email from our Gmail.
All right, as you know, I do not read your email in advance. My producer, Fleabag, forwards me your name, where you're from, and rewrites them so I can read them rapid fire and on the fly. And no topic is ever off the table. All right, Curtis G., Richmond, Virginia, said, "I like the new What's Your Point? But the guy you featured on Monday said 10 men attacked Big Balls. It was 10 teenagers. Okay, 10 men, 10 teenagers. It's still 10 people beating the hell out of one person here, Curtis. Big Balls was still brave enough to jump in there and try to, save that lady. Okay, He was brave enough to do that and risk getting black and blue balls over it. So I think that regardless, fending off 10 people, teenagers or grown men, tough stuff, man. And big balls, by the way, skinny dude, man. Small, skinny dude. All right, Rob K., Cranston, Rhode Island. My wife tells me our neighbor has been hitting on my wife. She's pretty hot, and I think my wife is attracted to her. So what's the smooth way to work this into a threesome? Oh, God, you guys, my God. You know what, Rob, if she's loyal to you, she's not going to do anything, but she may be curious about getting a little lingus without you being involved. Don't you pursue it, man, or you could find yourself out on your ass, okay? Let them approach you if they're interested. Andy C., Marietta, Georgia, said, I met this nice girl from San Diego a few months ago, and she gave me your number, but I never called. Now I have to travel to San Diego and would like to reach out to her. What's a good excuse for not calling till now? You can be honest, Andy. I always say honesty is the best policy when it comes to relationships. But you can say, hey, I didn't call because I didn't think I'd see you again. I didn't want to lead you on. I don't want you to lay it on too thick like it was, you were doing her a favor or anything like that. But, be just kind of shy about it. But that's my recommendation on that. Hopefully it works out for you. Darlene P., Independence, Missouri. I just read where Gen Z is now having better luck finding love in the workplace. Is it still a bad idea, or have you changed your mind? Well, I heard about this, and I still think it's a bad idea. Okay, because when it goes bad, one of you are going to lose your job. And when money's involved, you don't want that hell in your life. So if you meet somebody that you like at work, take care of it up front. One of you got to find another job. I just think it's a bad, raw deal to date somebody that you work with. All right, Wade D., Utah City, Utah, said, I saw this question on X and wanted to get your response. Name a band that should have been bigger than they were. For me, it's always been Crack the Sky, band out of the tri-state area where I'm from, near Pittsburgh. These guys were great musicians, number one, but they only had a big following, mainly on the East Coast, huge around Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia area. But I always thought they could have developed a bigger audience. They just didn't have a record company that was backing them the way they should have. But you can get their stuff online on iTunes. Crack the Sky. Check them out. All right, if you have any questions, observations, or comments, send them to my producer, Fleabag at ratsasspodcast@gmail.com. The more outrageous and salacious, the better.
Rat's Ass Podcast. Head trauma.
All right, let's pay it off. The Movie Mash. I played three clips from 3 different 80s movies, and you have to guess all 3 films. They're all different. All right, did you figure it out yet? Let's play the clips one more time for you.
It's no big deal.
No more Yankee, my Wanky.
Those aren't pillows.
All right, if you guessed Caddyshack, 16 Candles, and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yeah, baby.
Congratulations. But if you missed it, go see a doctor about your head trauma and get well soon. Well, as you know, this is where I kind of got a split. It's my garbage man, Pete's, birthday today, and I found him a vintage set of Garbage Pail Kids cards as a gift. Yeah, Garbage Pail Kids. Did you collect them?
What the hell kind of joke's that?
It's not a joke. These things are worth a lot of money if you get the right ones. But I do have one more thing for you. Did you know coffee improves short-term memory, creativity, and alertness?
You should drown yourself in coffee then, because you sure can use it.
Oh, God. Alexa, why must you always be a pain in my arse?
Because I'm a ding-dang diva and you're easy.
Oh, God. Yeah, I guess so. But let's see how easy it is to just put the mute button on you. Yeah, I'm getting good at pressing that mute button, man. I'm like quick draw on that thing now. Yeah. Welcome to Rat Nation, Jerry Flint of Newton, Mass. Danny Baxter from Fort Collins, Colorado. Tanya Collinsworth of Westchester, Pennsylvania. And to the Resistance, those of you who email us but haven't joined Rat Nation yet. Doug B. in Maple Grove, Minnesota. Davenport, Iowa. Nellie K. there. And Nathan W. in Chandler, Arizona. And around the world to listeners in Algiers, Algeria. Santa Maria de Jatiba, Brazil. And of course, our listeners, the big listeners in Hong Kong, China.
Now's your chance to be one of the few and the loud. Join Rat Nation at ratsasspodcast.com. Membership does have its rewards, you know.
Sometimes I think it's Hong Kong, Japan. Smack myself. All right, that's it for this episode of the Rat's Ass Podcast. Go check out ratsasspodcast.com. and get the entire Rat's Ass podcast experience. You can listen to the podcast, of course, rock out on Rat's Ass Rock TV, read the blog that's loaded with hot topicality. Plus, you can still join Rat Nation without qualifying. We'll do this again on Friday, August 15th. Take care of each other, and thanks for dropping by the Rat's Ass podcast.
The conversation continues between podcasts on X and ratsasspodcast.com. ratsasspodcast.com.